And we're live just like that. It is Spencer Foreman. Welcome to my office hours. It's remarkable to me because I was just discussing with a friend that week went snap of the fingers fast. That was probably the most incredibly fast week ever. Let me see if I got the right view. Let's stick with this view. I like this. And today I'm very excited. Good morning, Lance, and a few others are coming on in. Today we're going to talk about a really, really interesting, fun topic: how to create customer dashboards. Notice the little words under there for WooCommerce and otherwise, because see, the thing I'm going to share with you today is tell everybody, my insider tips for how to make things happen with less number of parts that you probably are actually using, instead of making it harder with other complicated, more complex, more numerous parts. Let me check my sound. Sounded good. We're in 4K. Okay. And today is also, for a lot of reasons, exciting, because the very things that I'm showing you how to do, you can either try to do it yourself for free, or I have a new product that I've been talking about that's going to be included, of course, as part of your launch kit. So hello, just sign up for a launch kit. That's the no-brainer. But you'll be able to buy it a la carte. You'll be even able to buy it one time if you prefer, because I'm catering to essentially making things as easy as possible for everybody. But just to jump into it, let's first have a concept conversation here. What exactly do I mean by customer dashboards, and what is it that I'm going to share with you? Well, in the world of WordPress, we have an amazing number of plugins and other features that can come together. But the problem that really almost every single one of the clients or customers I've dealt with over the last 10 years have had is that each of these features, each of these plugins wants to give you its own dashboard. It wants to give you its own place in the website where your clients are supposed to register and log in and go to. Now, by itself, that wouldn't seem to be a problem, but let me give you just like a detailed example. You have, let's say, WooCommerce. You maybe have a membership plugin. You have social networking. You have your LMS like Lifter or LearnDash. You've got events, ticket selling. You have client registration. You have forms. You could go down the list. And since every one of these companies, very well-intentioned, many of them colleagues of mine, people, have decided to make their plugin a framework, they're all competing for, hey man, come on over here when you log in. And the problem is you have a giant mess. What if we fix that by saying everything goes to one central place using, let's just agree upon it, the tool that does the best job for the most people? And underneath the hood, that is the free, emphasis on free as in you don't have to pay for it, WooCommerce plugin. It may do a lot of things that I don't enjoy, but it is absolutely the number one plugin in the WordPress space for providing all of the framework that one needs. And it is universally the number one plugin in WordPress for everything wanting and able to connect to it. So by using that as the basis, like I've done with launch flows, for providing a very simple drag and drop in the browser, lightweight way to build a dashboard, you can now use any of these features, any of your toys, any of your tools, any of your plugins, any of your design stuff, and it will just simply work. And you get the benefit of all the other things that come from Spence explaining to you why you should have been using WooCommerce all along, and not a membership plugin, and not a third-party cart, and not a whatever. Now, does that mean that you can't do that? No, of course you still can do it. In fact, I have some clients who have multiple ways to take money. For example, with Fluent allows you, for example, to sell access to Fluent bookings with Stripe directly. It allows you to sell access to something through Fluent Forms. You can do the same thing with Gravity Forms. Does that mean you can't do that anymore? Of course not. It just means that if you started with one solution that is built from all of the Legos in the Lego kit, then you end up with a better choice of what other things to selectively add on. So now I've given you a kind of a concept. Let's talk about the second part of this. And I promise we are going to dive in here. The second part is that you're an intermediary and you've got clients. You are somebody who enjoys working with WordPress, you're good at WordPress, or you're in full-blown agency. The problem is your clients are not equipped to understand where things are or what to do or how to change things. And you are. So you've now got a valuable new thing that I'm providing you here that you can sell to your clients as a one-time design copy paste, as a service to continue updating, as a tool that leads to them wanting other things. For example, many customers are interested in KPIs. How is their LearnDash or Lifter LMS group doing? How are people progressing through lessons? Can I tell each individual person about something that's available for them to buy or to continue doing because they're going to log into the same spot all the time? Well, guess what? That in and of itself is a full-blown category of stuff that you can make, save, share, sell by using the simple model that's already built into WordPress at its core, which is patterns. You're going to see what I mean. You're going to love this. So what I'm saying to you is that in a world of infinite complexity, you can actually deliver something that is visually very simple to understand and incredibly appealing. And you can sell that as a service or as an end product, much in the same way that I've described before how Canva has revolutionized, I use it myself, the way that we do design stuff. But Etsy is a place where people make templates for Canva. And some of them are doing 6- and 7-figure businesses because Notion templates, Keynote templates, anything that provides an easy framework. In this case, I'm providing one with the WooCommerce and the other things that this plugin provides, allows an intermediary to create ready to go versions of stuff. And then finally, the third thing is that whether it be for yourself or whether it be for a customer, the notion is that, less parts that cause less complications that don't get deeper into the integrations of the other plugins is better. WooCommerce is changing like a bat out of hell. Some of it, most of it, I would say in a good way. Some of it really going off the ranch. If you are using plugins, and this is a statement I've been making since 2019 when I wrote launch flows, as an alternative to cart flows. If you're making something that relies upon deep functional integration with something else, and that something else is changing like a bat out of hell, well, guess what? The secondary thing is going to have to spend 24/7 day and night keeping up. When I write my plugins, I'm lazy. I'm stupid. I like to write stuff that is the simplest task for the simplest result. Or the simplest component for the simplest result. Much like I constantly say, yes, Spence is a developer, and I still use a pad of paper and a pencil for 90% of what's important. Because over time, the electricity goes out, things get deleted. Guess what? A pad of paper and a pencil, I can always grab, immediately get my thoughts down, and it's virtually perpetual as long as I don't light it on fire or get it wet. So let's apply some of this. Good morning. Live and Die by Keep It Simple. Exactly. And good morning, Lance. Lance dropping in here today. All right. So let's get to the meat and potatoes because I'm going to give you an introduction. First of all, this is an add-on to something you can do a lot of things independent of what I'm going to show you. However, you can't do most of the good stuff. And that's the reason that I wrote a new plugin. The new plugin is called Customer Dashboards for WooCommerce. Shameless promotion. This is something I 100% guarantee, 100% guarantee, money back guarantee. You will not regret it if you decided to join me with this product, because this is the corollary to what I did with launch flows, but for these customer dashboards. So this is called Customer Dashboards. And the pricing and everything else about it is really simple. Right now, I'm showing it just as an introduction at $97. This will do the things I'm about to show you in a way that are so simple and so powerful that you will see the value of it, I hope, immediately, and try it. It's fully documented. Unlike my other stuff, I didn't mess around with this. So I've got all of the features, all of the functions ready to go. It's live. I am going to be putting it in ready for you guys to consume today. So shameless plug in advance because this is important. All right, let's talk about the basic idea. When you go into WordPress, if you used WooCommerce, and I'm going to put myself in the corner here just in case. Hold on. Let me see if I can do that. Let's try this. When you use WooCommerce, it provides you incredible power because one of the core things that it does is it provides a My Account dashboard area. But the dashboard area is both a log in, log out, registration, lost password, as well as the place where everybody can find all of their stuff. So it's way, way, way more than just simply like a page that allows you to see stuff. And that's really important because at its core, it's allowing you to register and log in users, which can then become contacts in your CRM. They could become social network members. They could become students. They could become group leaders. In other words, this is the portal of entry. This is the home base, the lobby of your health club. This is done by creating a My Account page. Now, I have got a bunch of junk on here because I'm going to show you this, but let's make a new copy of this. We're going to leave the old one there as a reference. Let's edit this page and clean it off so I can start you from the beginning, because I think it's important, especially if you've not tried WooCommerce for this purpose before, to understand. Number one, you don't have to actually sell anything. People are like, I like WooCommerce's idea, but I'm not selling any stuff right now. It doesn't matter. It handles all of those mechanical things in a way that is universal for registering, for logging in, for giving somebody a singular place to find everything. It doesn't matter if you sell them anything. It still works. So let's start out with the basic idea. To use WooCommerce My Account, you would simply use the WooCommerce My Account shortcode. And I hope this is close up enough to see because it's in 4K. This will initiate what I'm about to show you here, which is the default layout of the WooCommerce My Account. And this is affected by whatever theme or page builder you're using. So for example, I love Cadence blocks. And so it's taking on the settings and the default styling of the Cadence theme and the Cadence blocks. Now that by itself isn't remarkable, and it gives you a little bit of control, but it doesn't give you the kind of control that I'm about to show you, which is like everything can be hidden, moved, combined, and so forth. So let's go ahead and, sorry, I got distracted. Let's give this a moment to update. By the way, when I'm doing these events, I'm using InstaWP, which is a wonderful demo service, but it is not the normal horsepower of a regular site. So occasionally I have these moments where I wonder, maybe I should be just using a regular site, which I may end up doing in a second. So let's see if I can get this to update. We'll see if it cooperates. InstaWP is terrific, except the amount of horsepower it provides for the demo sites is nominal at best. Let's see. I'm hoping. This is the moment in the show where the live performer is waiting for the other actor to remember their lines. Come on, kids. Hey, Vicus at InstaWP, if you're watching, I'm watching you. This is where it's difficult for me. Okay. I have a plan B. Don't worry about it if it doesn't work. There we go. Finally updated. That took about 1,000,000 years unnecessarily. Let's see what happens when we look at the actual page that's output by the WooCommerce My Account shortcode. And if this doesn't improve, I'm just going to jump to a rocket.net site because I'm not going to pretend that this is going to work out. The magic. Oh, Daniel says this is 720 on YouTube. It should be 4K, Daniel. I'm sorry if it's not. You guys are very understanding. It's okay. I've got a backup plan, but InstaWP is just, I'm thinking of a nice word here. I want to say shitting the bed right now, because normally on Rocket, a page just updates in a second. All right. So thank you guys for your things. Daniel, I'm not sure what to say about the 720 because I should be in 4K right now, but if it's not, I do apologize. There's nothing I can do about it yet. But okay, so let's go back to the show. So this is what the default WooCommerce My Account works out to be. And normally, in order to style these things, thank you. Yes, I had tried the 4K trial, and maybe the trial ran out, but I'm going to definitely subscribe to it today. So normally what happens is you have the various tabs or endpoints, and you have the ability to switch the column to the right and left and some various minor things, which is okay. But in order to change which default tabs show up, in order to arrange content, in order to make something more here, you're kind of stuck because the output of the WooCommerce My Account can only be affected by default from using either filters, functions, or what I would like to call a complicated or a heavy plugin. Yith makes one of the plugins that does this. There's another one that's free, but they all are limited in the way that you can do stuff because you have to go programmatically and you're filtering functions of WordPress, specifically WooCommerce. I'm going to show you a better way. Let's start with the basics. If I took this page and I'm going to use cadence, but you can use any blocks you want. If I simply wanted to just relocate the positioning of the navigation or the content, it could be really this simple. I'm just going to add 2 columns, and into these, I'm going to add 2 shortcodes. And I can either do this by copy paste, or we can use the patterns that I've created. So LF navigation, and then let's duplicate this. And then let's do the other one as LF content. So just as a starting point, I leave the WooCommerce My Account. I'm going to move the navigation to the right side. And notice I can use the benefit, I love this, of the, let's say, outer row to adjust the ratio. Maybe I want to make the navigation bigger, smaller. This is a really simple example, but let's do it where the navigation is big enough. And to emphasize where it's at, let's put some style around it, because this is really easy to help us understand what's happening. So I'm going to say red border around the outside. Let's make it red, and let's make it a dashed line. Okay. This by itself is going to, just by placing these 2 custom shortcodes in place, this is going to make it that we now have relocated. It would, if InstaWP was cooperating, it would make it that we have relocated the positioning of the items. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to take the 2 seconds probably and move this all over, because otherwise we're going to be here. I feel like me suffering through InstaWP this morning. And Vickers is a great product. Don't get me wrong. It's amazing for demoing stuff, but this is unfortunate. Let's see if it saves. I may try to launch this on something else. Oh, that actually did good. Okay, so let's refresh. And when the page refreshes, we will see, hopefully sooner than later, that the positioning will change. So now you notice that we've got the content on the left and the navigation on the right. And this by itself, it sounds like it should be stupidly simple, but that is incredibly difficult to do, to change the look and the feel. And notice you can kind of see the indicators. The indicators and everything are still there. Everything is still standard. Okay, now let's do some more magic tricks, just minor stuff. Let's say, for example, besides that, we wanted to put the avatar somewhere else. The avatar is right here. We can just go ahead and add a block for the avatar, and we'll put it on top of the content, right? So same idea. And again, I'm doing this all from memory because the names of these are very easier. LF avatar, LF content. The naming convention is documented inside of here, right? But if you want to copy and paste it, or if you want to use the patterns that are available, that's easy. But watch, the avatar can be relocated. And I'm just getting started with this. So the idea is basically, we've now moved the avatar over, and just to give us a little bit of a highlight, one of the tricks we can do with the avatar is we can put it inside of its own section. I like to use the sections. In this case, I'll use cadence, because I can do that whole styling thing I just talked about. And just to help us understand where this is at, let's make this ridiculous blue and dashed. And let's also use some of the styling capability that we get. So we're going to put some margin at the bottom to bump it off a little. Simply by doing that and putting my avatar in place, I now will be able to get the layout I want. Ridiculous as this looks, we're going to make it better. Now, here's the key thing. From a performance standpoint, forgetting what's going on with InstaWP's server, all of this is happening in the browser client. It's 95% written in jQuery, which is to say it loads and it's in the client's browser. So unlike these other solutions like Gith solutions or the other ones, this does not have to filter stuff. It doesn't have to reprocess stuff. It allows you to make these designs that are incredibly lightweight. And this entire plugin file, it's just it's a one file plugin at the moment because I was able to write this with the same knowledge I got from launch flows. Okay, so basic things like repositioning can happen. Let's do it with the tabs. Now, we talked about reordering the tabs. Right now, I just have the navigation. Let's go ahead and use the pattern. I'm going to take what I've shown you here. Let's dump the whole thing and let's start over. I use this here. See, I've got this as a short way of getting this. Let's take, for example, these short codes. This is the navigation and all the way down to the logout. Let's just copy these. And I'm going to go back to my page here and I'll go back one. And I'm going to take the navigation and I'm going to paste below. Okay, so I simply say add after. I'm going to paste those other short codes in place. If it allows me. Okay. So now I don't need two navigations. Now I've got the navigation, but notice I've got the dashboard, addresses, subscriptions, account, custom URL. Let's say I want to put the order tab at the top, right? Sorry, I've got orders already. Let's say I want to put account details at the top. I simply go for the tab that will represent account, and I just put that at the top. Now I'm going to put it below the navigation, but still above everything else. And when I do and I refresh, that just rearranges the order that these things come out at, which is super easy. This doesn't require you to go into another interface. It's just literally what you see is what you get. Hopefully when this page refreshes. And again, hate to keep apologizing for what is not my fault, but like in this case, the speed is related to InstaWP. So I'm still waiting for this to update. Okay, finally. And now you'll notice we've got the account details at the top. Because these are independent, we can also do exactly what we just talked about with styling. You can put this inside of its own section, or you could do something cool if you're using standard blocks and you could just use the group feature and then you can style the group. So for example, I really prefer Cadence, but if I wanted to style this with the default stuff, I can make the background on this like a gray background or something. And the idea is that you now have the ability to reposition anything you want out of the standard tabs and style them any way you want right there inside of your Gutenberg. Or if you're using the shortcodes, by the way, with Divi, Elementor, another page builder, it would work perfectly fine. But I always tell people, why would you use another page builder when this is natively already in your dashboard? I am not going to continue with this InstaWP delay one more time. I'm going to give it 2 more seconds. In other words, I'm going to switch it over to a Rocket site, in which case we'll knock this out of the park. Okay, so now we've got the ability to reposition, or we can hide stuff. How do we hide stuff? Well, let's say we don't want to show the addresses tab. We can just simply add the parameter hide equals yes. And by adding the parameter hide equals yes, that will hide this tab everywhere. We can also hide it on specific pages. So if I said hide equals accounts, or hide equals downloads, or hide equals dashboard, it would hide it on those specific pages. But here I said hide yes, so it's going to hide everywhere. When we refresh the page, we see here addresses tab. Addresses tab is gone. So change the layout of the main components, being able to change the inner components, rearrange them, decorate them, style them, hide them selectively. What else can we do out of the box? Well, one of the things that's really difficult is that what if you want to add something to the layout and replace what's already there for the WooCommerce? Well, we've got classes for that. So for example, let's say I wanted to add some cool stuff to the content. First of all, let's take the avatar and we'll just put the avatar back over here. And we'll take the account shortcode, we'll put it back here. We'll get rid of this stuff. So now I've got my avatar at the top. I got my account. Let's say I want to add something above the content. Well, right now, if I put something in here, it will always be above the content on every page. So one of the things that I can do is selectively display stuff above the content from a remote location based upon which page I'm on or whether something's in the cart or whatnot. So let's do an example of that. Let's get rid of this section with the outline. And let's just go to my example over here where I've got some stuff. Let's say I want to put just this placeholder image above the content. But because it's conditional, I don't necessarily want to litter my design by showing it there. I just want to put it at the bottom of my layout and it will be placed there because I'm on a certain page. Okay. The way that we do that is you'll notice in the advanced that I can use these classes to say where something should show up. LF before the content, LF hide it on the addresses page. So let's copy this particular block and place it into our other situation. And for this, to make it clear that it's at the bottom, I'm just going to put it below everything because it makes no difference. All right. So now I've got this and I just take whatever it is, an image, a video, a block, and I just make sure to let it know where it should go. This should go before the content, and then it should be hidden on the addresses. Now, I'll show you in a second, I can do after the content or I can replace the content. But let's just take a look at what this does right now. This will take it and it will show it on every page except for the addresses before the content. It's actually at the bottom of the stack, but I've told it I really want it to show before the content. So let's do this. Refresh. And you'll notice, like magic, it shows up above the content column, except if I go to the addresses page where it will not show up at all. Okay. And in order to do that, let's also fix what I had done, which was on the address page, I had been hiding it. So let's unhide that. And so with a couple simple tools, while this is refreshing, I'm able to take native content like tabs, relocate them, design them, hide them, reposition them. I'm able to take extra content and position it specifically by just using a little instruction on it, like class. So if I go to the address page, watch, this will not show up if all goes well with InstaWP today. Ta-da. Okay. I'm able to selectively show or hide, reposition anything from the default stuff and on. Now, here's another trick. Let's say that I want to make new items. Like you see here, I have a custom tab. This is really, really difficult to do with WooCommerce and the third-party stuff. With this new customizer, it's simple. It's just a shortcode. So I know this may be a little tricky for you guys to see, so I'll zoom in. It's launch flows or LF tab custom. You simply put the URL in where you want that link to go. It could be an endpoint. It could be inside your site. It could be outside of your site. Target can be adjusted so it can open a new tab, and it could be my custom tab. So I could, for example, do wplaunchify.com. And I could say, WP Launchify. Let's see what happens. Let's zoom that back so we can see the whole screen. It seems like it's updating a little faster, so I'm going to stick with InstaWP. Vicus, I'm going to send you this video, my friend. Okay, here's the WP Launchify tab, and when I click on it, ta-da. So you've also got the ability to make custom default navigation links that you can drag and drop anywhere you want and stylize any way you want. If I want to put this above the navigation as a custom tab, let's do all my full Monty of stuff. And if I want to take this and I, either add it into a section or make it a group, I can then stylize the group with whatever colors and other things I want, right? So let's make the text, bright red, and I can make the typography. I can make the appearance bold or something. Okay, let's see what happens. So the basic idea is that you no longer have to worry about going to another place and creating something. But here's the benefit for you if you're an implementer or a designer. And we're just on the ABCs right now. Everything you create here can be saved as a custom pattern. So you simply select everything and you say, create a pattern. And then that pattern can be saved or shared or sold to somebody in the exact same way that I was telling you about with like Etsy selling Canva templates. You can make custom dashboards, and we're going to get to the cool stuff that will allow people to have all of the metrics for their social network, for their CRM, for their marketing automation, for the coursework, for progress, and then sell that as a ready-to-use thing to your customers, clients, or even as a standalone thing. And just as an example of that, I've been doing this forever with Launch Flow's Launch Kit. I create all these patterns based upon things that come from Cadence, and then I can demonstrate them, and I happen to give them away for free. But the idea is that these are things that are my creations that work with the underlying ingredients that are in the kit. So by using the same features in the kit, by using the standard thing I'm showing you, and by using the stuff that is literally blocks in the dashboard, although it is true you could do the same thing if you used Elementor or Divi, I don't know why you would, you can save and share and sell this stuff to other people. Okay, let's take a look and see what happens now to our custom tab. WP Launchify is now at the top and it's bright red. It still works. All right, all of this is to bring you into scope of what you can do. One last thing before I show you some really cool integrations and designs. The dashboard of WooCommerce out of the box has content in it that is supremely annoying for most situations. It says what I'm going to show you. It's like, hey, Spence, blankety blank. Let's readjust this. Hey, Spence, blankety blank. You know, from your account dashboard, you can view your whatever. Let's replace that. Let's replace that with something else. Super easy. All we do is like we've been showing you. We go to, let's do it one of two ways. We can either put something below all the content and replace it, or we can even put it in the place. It doesn't make a difference, but let's just carry on with what we're doing. Let's take something like an image. So I'm going to go add below or add after, and I'm going to put in advanced image. Let's do image. And let's just create something that's from our media library that I want to replace the content in the dashboard with. Let's just do a pretty picture. Okay. All I need to do is take this element and go to the advanced tab, either in Gutenberg Blocks or in Cadence. Under advanced, give it the class of LF replace content, replace dashboard. Sorry, replace dashboard. That's it. Just a simple class added to any element. This new functionality makes it smart enough to replace that default schmutz that's in there. And probably what you'd want to do is also add maybe another line of your own after it. So let's say add after, and I will say heading, and I'm going to say, this is the new dashboard stuff you see. Same idea. I just simply add the default class, among others, LF replace dashboard. And you can mix and match this functionality with before and after and hide and everything else. You can mix and match to make whatever combination you want. And as you just saw, when I save it as a pattern, all of that functionality carries with. So your client on the other end will get exactly what you programmed into this. So it makes it the ultimate lightweight WYSIWYG. The entire thing you give them will be a couple kilobits, but you can sell this for $97, $200, $500, whatever your design talents are. Notice there's no default dashboard content anymore. It's replaced by this stuff. And just to prove how ridiculously simple this is, if I took this layout and I wanted to save it, sell it, share it, whatever, I simply create a pattern. I say my big bucks pattern for dashboard. I'll put it under dashboards. I can sync it or not, create it. Now, whether I use this here or otherwise, all it's going to do is it's going to take the blocks put them somewhere else. So for example, if I went back over here and I added a new page, this is what's going to happen. Somebody can go ahead and use the pattern library or copy your pattern that you give to them in the same way I showed you from patterns.launchflows, and they just simply paste it in place. Ta-da! And it's done. And it will work exactly as it's supposed to. Now, one of the things that you need to do is you need to make sure that this page is designated by WooCommerce as the My Account page, because otherwise the links for all the dashboard tabs and stuff will go back to wherever the other page is that is being used. But this is easy to do. Here's how we do it. You simply go into WooCommerce, whether you're selling anything or not, it makes no difference. And you're going to go ahead and just choose this as the endpoint, this particular page. I've chosen the My Account page, but I can show you how you can change that. So WooCommerce settings. Come on, Insta. You can do it. It's doing a little better now. You go under advanced. And My Account page. So I'm going to leave it at My Account, but if I wanted to, and I had a new page, let's say called this another dashboard. Once I save that, I would be able to choose another dashboard as the account page, right? So let's refresh this. And that would mean that the functionality of the endpoints would all go back to this particular page instead of the My Account. So super easy. So you'd say another, and we should see that. Come on, Insta. You can do it, kid. Maybe. Let's see. Oh, note to self. Always check if it's actually saved the page. You're going to have to trust me on this one because otherwise this webinar is going to be more frustrating. But you guys know me well enough to know I work without a net. So the concept is as long as you copied and pasted and set it to the dashboard, other than the host you're demonstrating on, everything should be fine. All right, let's do the amazing stuff. So I've now, well, one last functional thing. I show on the left column here, what if you want to have links to the default content areas, but not using the default tabs? So in other words, here we've got the default tabs, which I've shown you. You can rearrange, you can relocate, you can even, by the way, I didn't do this, but if I want the subscriptions tab to be hanging out all the way over on top of the content, that's totally cool. And it will maintain all of the styling, which is really amazing because it's been taken outside of its wrapper, but I've made sure that the wrapper stays with it. So you'll notice in a second, if this page updates, that even if I move a navigation tab out of the navigation stack, it will still look and feel and act like it was still in there. Watch this. So you notice it's a little hard to see on the right side. You notice there's like the indicators, right? See, the indicator actually works here and it still works perfectly fine. But what if I wanted to add the link to any of these endpoints to another element, like clickable buttons? Well, here I've got that going on, for example, where I have created a button, like, let's say using the default buttons from Gutenberg or default buttons from Cadence, or maybe I have a visual image like an icon, and I have short codes like link to account that will take whatever your endpoint URL is for the account and will allow it to be used inside of this particular element. So when you click on the link, you simply paste in the short code and it gives you the functional result. Let's do one live. Okay. So first of all, let's take this. We'll copy this to our page that we're working on. Let's go ahead and make some buttons on the top of this custom one. So we'll add before. And let's get out of the group, actually. So let's delete that. And we'll add before that last button. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is let's see what happens when I just paste the link in. It's going to output the URL for you to see, so you get a concept of what we're doing here. What we're doing is we're taking the dynamic content link for this particular element that's part of my account, and we're placing it out there. This is the edit account link. But if we use that with something else, like a button, it will actually replace the necessary link so the button works. Let's try it like this. Button. Let's use Cadence because I love those. And we say edit account. And I can style it. This is the beautiful part. I can style it any way I want, any color I want. I paste the URL in. By the way, we should just use this part of the URL, of the shortcode, I mean. We paste the shortcode in here, paste, update. Now this account button is fully functional. And if I change my account page to being like I was trying to show you something else, it will function perfectly normal. Let's take a look. Okay, so now I've got my account button or buttons. When I click on it, it will tab the content area over to the necessary account. Ta-da. All right. Last thing. I know there's a lot of functions, but they're very easy to keep track of. If we look inside of here, before I go to the magical stuff, this works with any kind of graphic. I just want to emphasize this. So it doesn't have to be a button. Let's say instead of this, I say add before, and I use an icon. For example, the icon box, super cool. Or the icons alone. Let's do an icon box. So I like that one. Add before. Info box. Okay, so let's do the same thing. Edit account. Now this would be super cool because you can imagine the design possibilities here. Learn more about your account. Okay, all you need to do is click on the info box itself, paste in the LF link account shortcode. I hope you're seeing how easy this is, even with my hosting issues. And now I've got a graphical image that isn't necessarily a button, that accomplishes the very same thing. Why is that cool? I'm going to show you in a second why that's cool. It's because the starter templates and the design libraries and everything else have so many cool things in it that I can make a beautiful layout, a beautiful design that functions to do everything I need it to do. And I can place the content I want. All right. I get excited about this because this is, like, to me, as cool as Launch Flows was 5 years ago, but better, because this is where people sell stuff. Now, almost everybody has been asking about learning management, or I've got a social network, or I've got something from metrics to show. Here's what's so cool about this. You can put those in line. So for example, if I add before here and I say Learn Dash, I can put my Learn Dash user profile conditionally right into the same My Account area, but I can also design above and below all kinds of other tchotchkes. So for example, above this row, if I wanted, I can go ahead and use the design library to put in something like a row of social icons that I can click on to navigate around. So let's see what I've got here available. There's so many beautiful things. Something like this would be nice. It doesn't really matter, but just for example, counters and statistics, forms, galleries, anything you want, you can merge together. Let's just use this so that I can, oh, actually, let's see for cards. Cards might have a good one. This one. Okay, so I'm going to add this in, and as I just showed you, I can convert any of those into displaying the things conditionally or otherwise that I want when somebody clicks on them. So this could be, again, edit my avatar, right? Or this could be, view my downloads. Now, all I need to do is what I was just describing to you before. Take the section itself, use the overlay link, and then go ahead here and just say LF downloads. Let me type it correctly. LF _ downloads. So what I've been able to do with just this quick and messy example is two things. Let's see the result. One, I'm able to pull in the content from the Learn Dash to show the user profile conditionally where I want it. Number two, I'm able to start showing you how I can build really cool elements that are all on the same page that have functionality that works together in the space to show the customer exactly what they need to see when they need to see it. And these are all basic examples. This is not the stuff that's based on what they bought or what they have as tags or what page they're on or what date it is or any of that. That can be added on as well. Okay, so when we go back over here, let's make sure the page has saved. And one thing we got to make sure of that I am on the right page. This is still updating. Vickis, I'm going to have words with you, my friend. Finally. Okay. Okay, so now what we've got is, again, very simple, but you can see the elements here. I'm building something graphically that when I click on view my downloads, it actually is a functional thing. So it shows the content. Well, if I had the link in there properly, it shows the content of the my downloads. Let's double check my work. I think I didn't put the link downloads because I was going quickly. LF, link downloads. I don't mind working without a net. I did. I forgot to put link downloads. So let's save that. And then it'll function when it refreshes to take me to show the downloads area. You'll notice below here, I've also got the LearnDash components of like showing the profile. If I wanted to, I can also build something that has this very neat layout that has the LearnDash course progress or groups that you're in or how much you scored on a quiz. Any of these things are possible. And the recommendation that I have is that you use the starter templates as a basis for this. So for example, you can drag and drop the pieces yourself, but you can also just go here. I have a few of these in the patterns library where you just take some or all of the parts that you want and display them as you need. I don't know if this one is demoing properly, but let's do just from some of these other ones. Like if we took any of these individual starter template pages, you could take any of these things that look attractive and turn them into clickable elements that display the content you want in the central location, including some of the stuff like for the social networking. So let's go back and show you, in addition to like LearnDash, you can put the components in here that would allow you to selectively show or hide any of the Buddy Boss components, right? Like members or latest activities or an activity that specifically was done by a person. So in doing so, whether it's tabbed or whether it's in one layout or whether you have a conditional display, you're able to merge everything graphically into something that looks exactly as you wish and hide the stuff that you don't, save it, and reuse it. Now, the final thing, just because this is probably going to be best demonstrated once I make a few of these actual templates, is how it really allows you to show everything that you need for selling in a more logical way. So let me clear this whole kit and caboodle out. And if we just started with the bare basics, what I would do literally from day one, it would be like this. Number one, I'm going to go from scratch. So I would use a row. And it doesn't really matter because this won't necessarily show. I'm going to put in the short code, or I can place it in from the patterns of the WooCommerce My Account. Okay, next, I'm going to add a row above this, and I'm just going to do 2 columns. And again, if you want to save time, you could just use the pattern. But for this, I'm going to do short codes, navigation, like I did before, LF navigation. And then for this one, I'll just duplicate it and make it content. Now, the best thing for me on this is I would probably add a very elegant row above that allows some kind of navigation that's simple to understand. So I obviously can have the default stuff, but what if I just move the navigation away from here and hit it and made something else at the top? So the navigation could remain and I could put some of the items or I could remove all of them. The way to remove the navigation entirely would just say hide equals yes, or I can just selectively move a few things above. So let's do it like that. I'll add another row, add before. And I like to use the row because when you're using the row, at least with cadence, you can say inherent the max width from the theme. Everything just stays nice and tight. So for here, again, I'll go back to using buttons, or maybe I could use a design thing. Let's just stick with buttons for now. And I'll say stuff like, downloads, and then I'll duplicate it. and I'll say payments, and then I'll put one other one that says log out. You can make these as gorgeous as you want. We use our reference this time. So if we go over here, the link that we want to add on these, right? If I want to add payments or if I want to view payments, it just depends. Let's look at if we've made any payments. Copy, I just add that in to the payments as the URL. And similar here for logout, it's LF logout, link logout, and paste that into here. And then for downloads, it's LF downloads, link downloads. Because I can style these, I can change the look and feel of these any way I want. It's super simple. I can even individually change the button colors, which I love because you can, I mean, this is just so impossibly hard to do otherwise. I mean, anybody who's tried to do this realizes it is a fool's errand oftentimes to make this kind of stuff happen. But since I'm right now inside of Cadence or Gutenberg Native, it's really super easy. So now I've just made some ridiculous color choices, but let's wait till this saves this time. And note to self, no more live events on InstaWP. So now what I've got is my standard dashboard. I still have the other links. I've also got my, crazy color buttons at the top, and all of it functions properly. So if I click here, this will show the downloads screen below. So functionally, this is what's important. The payment screen, everything is still acting as it should. I'm just able to design something that works better as I wish. Now, if I want to hide the downloads, we've talked about this. I could do this a couple different ways. The easiest way is to simply say duplicate and say LF tab downloads hide equals yes. And that will just hide that tab entirely because I've already got a button for it at the top. So after this saves and I refresh, and I won't be redundant here, but let's just do this last one. And then I'll talk about how this all works. Because this is almost the exact path I took with launch flows, except now I've got the means and the motive and the audience to make this really, really interesting. So notice now downloads is gone, but it's still here. Okay, how does all this work? Why am I bothering with this? What's going on? What am I selling you? Well, first of all, what I'm selling you is what I started off by saying I'm selling you. I want you guys all to go to WP Launchify, or click, if you're in today's webinar, click the customer dashboards. I want you to buy this for $97. This is one way I'm delivering it. I'm delivering this inside of the Launch Kit if you're already a Launch Kit member. So please try Launch Kit if you have not done so. You can get Launch Kit at the front of WP Launchify. That's all of the software bundle. But if you would just like to try this and you're not using any of my other stuff, just try this one. It's $97. It's once a year. This is the traditional model. I will be offering this as a one-time purchase, also bundled together with Launch Flows, but this is a way to get it. And in doing so, what I think you should do is see whether or not you agree. This makes your life infinitely easier for customizing what your customers and clients all do once they've registered and logged in and start using your WordPress site, even if you're not selling anything in WooCommerce. But if you're an implementer, if you're an agency owner, if you're somebody who is selling stuff to other people, I'm going to begin putting together example patterns that will be free. Some of them will be part of other packages, but the ones that are free will be like, here's all the basic layouts you need to get started. And you can start selling these things as solutions to your customers, because God knows that when they do the Buddy Boss dashboard and the Learn Dash or the Lifter dashboard and the Foo Events dashboard and this, there's 900 places in the site that are all for somebody to figure out how to connect together. This allows you to do this in one spot and make it really beautiful and elegant. Last thing I didn't mention, but it's worth mentioning, is the registration and the logout stuff. So I didn't show you this, but one of the best things about using WooCommerce is it gives you a very beautiful and ready to go login, registration, redirection, all that capability, and it works with the marketing automation. And what's neat about that is that I didn't even get into this, but you notice this visibility tab here. There's a free plugin that I use called Block Visibility. This allows you to, in addition to the basic stuff here, conditionally show different things to different people based upon lots of conditions. Browser, cookie, date and time, location, metadata, referral, screen, URL. But even in WooCommerce, you can have rules like show or don't show these things based on whether they've got certain things they've already got in the cart, they've already purchased, how much they've spent, their total order history, inventory of products. I mean, just a crazy amount of stuff. And that's also on top of the other visibility, which works with WP Fusion and Fluent CRM, of what have they clicked or seen or done before. So give this a try. If you don't agree, I'll just give you your money back. Everything is $97 money back guarantee. But I do feel that once I start making these ready to go patterns for you and other people to use, you're going to be able to just hit the gas on this and start selling these solutions to clients for $100, $200, $300, because it's a very powerful thing when you can integrate all of these other features into one spot and declutter, deconfuse, optimize what somebody does in one spot. So let me show you the last bit of it, because that's before I'm done. If I click to log out, the default log out registration page appears. And that's the thing that has the option as well for registration. If you allow that here, this can be hidden or repositioned or changed, log in, all these other things. Notice too, with these buttons, these are showing up because I needed to just say that that only shows up, you know, when somebody is logged in, right? So hide from logged out users, and that would have solved that problem there. So the bottom line is anything and everything you need to do, one spot for creating custom dashboards. I'm going to be doing a lot of content on this as it relates to the 4 pillars of your business. The sales page leads to the checkout page. The checkout has custom offers or otherwise that leads to post-checkout offer or a thank you page, which leads to a My Account. Those are the only 4 things you need for structuring your business. And if you have those, whether you're selling or giving away stuff, everybody will follow a journey that you can track with the CRM and tags and fields to know exactly what to say and do next to get them to do the things that improve their experience, make their lives better, make them feel like you're really giving them something of value. I apologize in advance, although I don't, for the fact that I do things live, that the hosting shit its pants today. And Vicus has an amazing product. I really do love it. I use it every day, but I'm probably not going to use it for live demos anymore. The product itself that you're buying from me is a single PHP file. It will be optimized and included into a larger package later. So just understand you're buying a fully functional thing, but I'm completely open to all your suggestions and ideas. That's how I built Launch Flows to be such a well-received product over the last 5 years. But you're getting in early. You're getting in like my early adopter group on this, because I feel like you're going to give me the most information possible. And just let me know what you think of this in general. So again, I don't want to sound too salesy, but the more you can participate with me on this, the better it comes out. And I think ultimately everybody wins. That's it for today. Thanks everybody for joining me. I appreciate it. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I'll be in touch. Ciao.